Hi everybody, my name's Samson, and I'm here today to talk to you and to the rest of America about a couple problems that you and I are facing. The biggest problem is the burgeoning and blossoming threat of feudalism. Bernie Sanders talks about it all the time. He calls it oligarchy, which is basically the same thing as rule by the wealthy, just like medieval Europe. You had kings, queens, ladies, lords, all those people, very wealthy, lots of titles, and lots of land, and they had serfs or slaves, whatever you'd like to call it. What's happening today is immediately going to lead to feudalism in the future. We have everybody's money. It's going to the richest people, and it's not coming back. They're consolidating that wealth as a substitute for power over all of us. It's interesting to think about. There are 300 million people in the United States. There's only a handful of people that control the vast majority of the wealth. Why? Because they refuse to share. They don't want to pay taxes. They don't want to invest in programs to bolster business. If anything, they think that you, I, and everyone else is getting paid way too much and we're lazy. That same old tired rhetoric, it just gets so old. I know I'm not lazy. I'm pretty sure you're not lazy either. That's where Bernie Sanders steps in. I'm sure you've heard of him. Old guy, white hair, glasses, everybody loves him, and he speaks the truth almost 100% of the time. This is a guy that has been on the scene for 50 years. They've got a picture of him chained to a black woman during civil rights protests. It goes way back. He's got all this video footage of him saying, it's like, okay, the biggest problem is rich people refuse to share. He's not the only one that's been saying this. They've been saying it for years. And the amazing thing is, everyone knows it, but yet no one will do anything about it. Once again, enter Bernie Sanders. He's a presidential candidate who has been cheated at every possible turn. Every time he went into a primary or a caucus, a good part of the time, somehow, some way, votes weren't getting counted. They were getting shuffled off. They were getting changed. Stuff that's downright illegal. And it just kept happening over and over and over. And no one's getting in trouble for it. Why do you think that is? Because rich people, very, very, very rich people, don't have to play by the same rules that you and I have to play by. You see, most of the laws that were designed here in the United States were designed specifically to protect them from us. That's why you don't see billionaires in prison. You see poor people in prison. If you can't make someone a buck, they consider you worthless and they house you in a prison. And they do everything they can to drive down your lifespan and make you die quickly. Look at today. Monsanto controls most of the food that we grow in the United States. It's all genetically modified, specifically to help decrease your lifespan, to lessen the surface population. A lot of people don't realize this in the United States. Outside the United States, they all realize it. That's why they ban GMOs from their country, because they know it will kill their citizens. Here in the United States, they think we have too many citizens and they need to be killed off. They think that it helps control the labor market, helps make the food supply last longer and more stable. It's just basically, if they can't make money off of you, you might as well be dead. Again, we talk about Bernie Sanders, and that was the main thing I wanted to talk to you about today. Bernie Sanders came into this campaign wanting to throw the establishment on its back and beat the hell out of it. And I wholeheartedly agree with Bernie. It's like lots of things need to happen. The money has to come out of politics. The lobbying has got to stop. That's legalized bribery. There's no other way to say it. Lobbying is bribery. It's got a fancier name and it's legal because rich people are doing it. See that? If a poor person offers a politician money, it's bribery. If a corporation or an extraordinarily wealthy person offers a politician money, that's lobbying. There's a difference. The laws don't apply the same way to you and I that they do to these corporations or extraordinarily wealthy people. This has been a problem ongoing, I'd say, for about the last 50 years. It's just gotten really, really bad. Every year's gotten worse and worse and worse because more money is going up there and not coming down here. Just like Ronald Reagan's trickle-down economics. It's not trickling. Supply-side economics benefit one group. The people who control the means of production. Again, Bernie Sanders is trying to stick a knife in that too. He would like to see lots of people learning new skills, going to college for free. He wants to see an educated society where people can get a bigger slice of that pie. But the people with the biggest slice of the pie, under no circumstances, want to share those. As a matter of fact, like I mentioned earlier, they think you're already getting too much. You're fat, you're lazy, you're stupid, and you're undeserving. You feel entitled to food, shelter, human dignity. Because we live in an entitlement society where the people who work about 3 months a year, and 90% of that's on the golf course, call you lazy. Something interesting to think about. There was another place that had a problem similar to what we're going through today. France. Our friends across the ocean. The pea soup eaters. Eventually, the rich people there just took so much that there wasn't really anything left for the citizens. So what happened? When the rich got incredibly greedy and said, fuck the citizens said, no, fuck you, because there's more of us than there are of you. So what'd they do? They stormed their homes, they stormed their businesses, they snatched them up, and then they publicly executed them. Wow. And after that, the monarchy was gone from France. You had a political leader who self-styled himself as emperor, but there was no aristocracy. He was just a short little guy with delusions of grandeur. Called himself an emperor, but he wasn't really an emperor. And since that point, there's a lot of places in Europe which have fought against aristocracy hard. There are a few little holes out. You still got some aristocracy, but they've been declawed and defanged, while ours is continuously growing. We're quickly devolving into feudalism. Now here's a question that I'm going to ask you, and I want you to take a moment to really, really think about what I'm asking you. There's 300 million of us. There's only a handful of them. They're human beings. They have addresses. They have phone numbers. They live, breathe, eat, and shit just like every one of us. But yet, for some reason, they are allowed to take advantage of all of us. Why do we let that happen? Seriously. What we need is a second American Revolution. We need to take control of these people. We need to get that money out of politics. We need to take some of the money that's being stored in shell corporations in the Caymans and Switzerland and God knows where else. Take it back. Start spreading it out. They call it wealth distribution. I just call it, finally getting the money that we're owed. Because we're all working for slave wages, basically. In the city that I live in, if you can get a $10 an hour job, that's about what you can hope for. There really aren't a lot of middle class jobs. The chances of being able to move into the middle class are relatively low. When I was a kid, I was under the delusion that somehow if I worked hard and I got good grades, I'd go to college, I'd get out of college, and I'd become fantastically wealthy. And I'd have a good life, I'd have a nice car, big house, everything associated with success in America. I don't even dream about that anymore. You know what I dream about? I dream about being middle class, because at this point, it seems like an unobtainable dream. I'm well educated. I have a college degree. It's not helping me one iota. The only thing it's doing is it's putting me under, it seems like, insurmountable debt. And I do feel a little bit resentful about that. It seems like I got conned into the whole dream that if you try hard, you work hard, you go to school, you can have a good life. But instead I have people calling me lazy, telling me I feel entitled. It's enough to piss a person off. And I know I can't be the only one. There's going to be a convention in July, Democratic National Convention. Got all these Bernie Sanders supporters out there who say they're going to go. Here'd be an interesting thought, something that I like to dream about. All these people show up and they just start pressing in. The cops can't stop them. And they just basically take over the building. They get all those politicians in one place and say, what about us? What about us? Fuck your overlords. What about us? It's like your overlords aren't here protecting you. We're here now surrounding you. We want answers and we want results. Like I said, there's a lot more of us than there are of them. The only thing that's stopping us is we need people out there who have the guts to stand up, get their hands dirty. That's pretty much what it took in the French Revolution, and that's what it took in the American Revolution. Basically, the Americans got sick of feudalism. They said, you know what? You take everything that we create. It's ours, but yet you take it away from us because you're special. You're aristocracy, you're highborn, and you deserve to have all those things, and we don't deserve shit, but we just feel entitled. So, to all you rich elitists out there who think that you have the money because God chose you, or you're smarter or better, or anything like this, in the immortal words of Mahatma Gandhi, you can go eat a fucking dick. Just saying. So folks, if you really stand behind Bernie, you've got to dig in, and you've really got to take a bite out of the establishment. Apply for a public office. Throw a brick through a bank window. I don't give a shit. Just do something. Slap a congressman. I don't... Do something, anything, to let these people know that we're fucking sick and tired of it. We want to eat too. Okay? I realize that you got to make your fucking yacht payment, but most of us don't have yachts. And you don't really need one either. Okay? You can go just like the rest of us. Just because you were born into a family that has many, many, many generations of accumulated wealth doesn't make you special. It makes you a fucking parasite. So I'm calling out to all you Bernie Sanders fans out there. I'm calling out to all you independent fans out there who just want a decent life. Do something. Stand up today and make your mark. Because the way things are going, that won't be possible in the future. So remember, Samson said it first. Go after them. Thank you, and you have a wonderful day.